Welcome to the Shopify Migration Hub. Today, we'll be talking about the Simplified POS Product CSV. This tool is an interactive page that will allow you to tell us exactly what product data you would like to import into Shopify, and we will present a concise list of instructions based on what you've selected. This tool focuses on the most common CSV fields that other POS systems are able to export, offering a simple solution for any product CSV files that you have downloaded from your previous system. Let's start by quickly going over the instructions. First, you will fill out a data form. In this step, you will select which fields you would like to import from your CSV, and the page will change based on your answers. Then, you will delete unneeded columns from your CSV file. It is best to completely remove unneeded data from your CSV file. This will ensure that your file will import as quickly as possible, and it will also help you avoid any potential unwanted import errors. After that is done, you will use the Selected Data section on the page. This section will teach you how to replace the headers on your file with the appropriate Shopify headers. We'll be sharing some tips and tricks on how to do this as quickly and as easily as possible in this video. Next, you will review the defaulted data fields. In this step, you will learn about Shopify's default product values, and we will teach you how to edit these values if needed. If you are fine with some or all of the default values provided by Shopify, then you may not need to edit anything on your CSV file during this step. The last step listed here is optional, where you can add optional data to your CSV file. These fields are not required on your file. If you choose to leave them missing from your file, you can use these fields after you import your file instead. Shopify will simply keep these fields blank until you use them. Now, we'll go over a file transformation together. What you're seeing on the screen is the Simplified POS Product CSV on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side, it is our example CSV file that we will transform together. So let's start by filling out the data form. While filling out the data form, it is best that you have your CSV open beside the page so that you can compare your CSV file fields with what's available on the data form. The product name is already selected here because it's the only required field by Shopify. Next, I'll go over the columns on my CSV file and match them up with what's available here. So next is category. We have price. We have cost of goods. Inventory tracking. We also have supplier or brand, the SKU, the barcode, and that's all of the columns that match up on the data form. We can move on to the next step, which is deleting any unneeded data from our CSV file. The system status code over here holds garbage data that I do not want to use in Shopify. So what I can do to remove it is highlight the entire column by clicking the letter here. If I give it a right click, I'm able to delete the entire column. Now that I've filled out the data form and deleted any unneeded columns, I can move on to look at the Selected Data section. In this section, I'm able to find any data types that I've selected in the data form and find the appropriate Shopify header. If I scroll back to the very first column where product name exists, I can take a look at what I need to insert into my CSV, and to easily copy and paste it, what I can do is click on the Shopify header. I'll get a notification that the header was copied to my clipboard, and I can go ahead and double click on my field, erase anything that's in there, and I'll just do a Command V or a Control V on Windows to paste the appropriate header into that field instead. So I'll go ahead and do that for the next few fields here. So for price, I'll click on that header, erase what I have in my file, and once again paste. It is a good idea to make sure you're reading the description for each field because sometimes Shopify will have very strict values that we are able to accept when you're importing your CSV. For example, for this track inventory setting, the accepted values for Shopify are Shopify, or you can leave it blank, as seen in this accepted values section. So, for our inventory tracking, we'll start by doing the normal process of copying and pasting the appropriate header. But for this particular section, we need to have our values say Shopify instead of the word yes. A great trick for this is to use the find function and replace all yeses with Shopify. If you ever find yourself in the situation where you need to change to one of our accepted values, you can highlight the column, go to Edit, use Find and Replace, and you will type in yes and replace it with Shopify as we need. And because we've already highlighted the column, it will only edit all of the yeses in that specific range, which is our E column. So if I go to Replace All and hit Done, now we have the appropriate accepted value in our E column for the variant inventory tracker. Let's quickly go through the remaining selected data fields so that we can move on to the next section. The next step for us is to take a look at the defaulted data section. In this section, we'll just want to make sure that we're reading everything that's included in here so that we understand what data is defaulted if we leave the column missing from our file. For example, this Publish to Online field, Shopify will default to a true value if we leave it missing from our file. In this case, I don't want my products to be available on the online store or published to the online store immediately. So to change that default, what I'll do is I'll take a look at my CSV file here. And in the next blank column, I'll take the Shopify header and I will put the published value at the top of that header. What I can do now is put the value that I want my products to have once I import them. And for this case, I want everything to be not published online when I import it. So I'll just paste that value in once and I can actually drag and drop that false value from top to bottom to make sure that all of my products are not published on the online store after importing. If there are any fields where you would like to keep the default value for some of your products but change it for others, what you can do is take that Shopify header and put it into your file and manually fill out all of the values for all of your product rows. For this example, I'll take the taxable header and I'm going to add a new column to the right of the titles so that I can simply track which item I'm editing. I'll paste that header here. And let's just say for my file, all of the items near the top have a true value for taxable or not. However, for my store, the food and drink items are not taxable. So I'll take that false value and copy and paste it for these particular items. Now I have a mix of true and false values for the appropriate items. Now that we're done with the defaulted data fields, we can move on to the unused optional data. Just remember that these fields are completely optional for you to add to your CSV file and you don't need to include them, before you import the file that you're currently working on. If you don't include these fields in your product CSV before importing it, Shopify will simply leave these fields blank, and you can add or adjust these fields to your products after you've imported your initial set of data, and you can do it all through Shopify admin. For our example file here, we will add one of the optional fields, which is tags. From the description, we'll read that setting a tag can help us set up product subcategories, apply special tax rules, and setting channel availability. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that header. Once again, I'll add a new column beside my title so I can see what I'm working on. And I'll paste that header right at the top here. For my example, I want to use tags to help me set channel availability. So for example, I can put POS to make sure that items are only sold on the POS, or I can put something like omni-channel so that I know that I eventually want to sell all of these items on the POS and my online store. So what I can do from here is expand that to the appropriate items, and let's just say these food items I want to put on POS only. And then I can copy and paste that by dragging it. So now what I can do after I import is sort my product list by the tag omnichannel and POS only so that I can perform actions in bulk or simply sort out my product list so that I know what I'm looking at. With that, we've completed all of the changes needed on our CSV file, so let's take a look at importing this file into Shopify. I'll just maximize this window so that we can take a closer look. And the next thing that we want to do is go to File and make sure that you are downloading it as a CSV. So with my CSV, I'm going to keep it downloaded in this toolbar here just so that I have quick access to it. I'll visit my Shopify admin, I'll go to Products, and right at the top corner here, I'll go to Import. What you can do is drag and drop your file or find it by clicking inside of this rectangle. And once you have it dragged and dropped or selected, you'll go ahead and upload and continue. You'll see a preview of the first product. Go ahead and hit Import Products. And it's as simple as that. Now remember those tags that I've added as an optional step? What I can do from here is type in the tag in this filter here. And once my product list is filtered, I can select all the products that match that search, go to More Actions, and do bulk actions such as adding to a specific channel. This is my POS only group, so I can add it to the point of sale channel immediately. And another example is finding those products that were tagged with omnichannel. And what I can do from here is visit each individual item so that I can prepare it for the online channel by adding a photo or description or other pieces of data that were missing from my CSV file through Shopify admin. And that is it for our demo of the Simplified POS Product CSV. We hope that this demo has been helpful to you, and we hope to see you up and running on Shopify soon. Until next time, bye for now.